In 1981, there was a murder so shocking that it changed the entertainment world forever, yet the killer was never brought to justice. Now, almost 40 years later, we're reopening the case, reviewing old leads as well as new evidence, to try and make sense of a killing which gave rise to a massacre. The who, what, why, and how of when video killed the radio star. Welcome to the Radio Star Murders.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Radio Star Murders. We're breaking down music videos, trying to decide if and when video killed the radio star. We're breaking down, analyzing music videos to see if the video aspect helps or hinders the song. And right now, Clay, welcome to you first and foremost. How are you?
Welcome to me as well.
We are going to we're going to be talking about Big Gun, AC/DC, and this was your choice, Clay. I think we did Coolio last. It's been a little bit of a time since we recorded, but we're doing movie
song
themes.
Number 3. Sorry, I stepped on your thing there. Song number 3 in our movie themes videos.
Yes, that's right. So we're doing a month of music videos that are themed after movies. We did Coolio, we did The Goonies Are Good Enough, and now we're up to Big Gun, which I had never seen before. But do you want to break this down if you have a description for the scene, and then just let me know what you think about the song in general?
Sure. Well, it was released as a single in 1993. It was not on any albums by AC/DC. It only appeared on box sets and stuff, and it was actually their first number one on the Album Rock Tracks chart in 1993.
What the hell is the
video?
Wait, what's the Album Rocks track? If they've never had is that like a? I'm going to look at this actually. Album Rocks. Yeah. It's just a Billboard chart, I guess.
I assume, yeah.
On mainstream rock stations. Interesting. So it's basically like a number one hit, the first one.
Yeah, apparently.
Huh.
Yeah, it's weird how these things shake out. Like Iron Maiden had their first number one album in like 2013.
What? Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. I guess it's because album sales are down, but your fandom is still strong. Who's buying records at that point? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think with I think it's a couple things with Iron Maiden. I think it was like they have become such a legacy act, and such a younger audience was now into them that when they put out an album, boom, it just like popped up to the top of the charts kind of thing.
Yeah.
But with this song, this is actually from the Last Action Hero soundtrack. Last Action Hero starring Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movie a lot of people say is one of his worst movies, but I actually really enjoy it, and I always have. And in the video, in a cozy airplane hangar with a giant gun barrel catwalk that I can only assume is Angus Young's living room, AC/DC are playing a song for 300 of their closest friends and family that definitely only has a single meaning and definitely isn't some sort of juvenile double entendre because AC/DC are sophisticated adults.
Clay, this isn't a party. This is a ball that they're at right now. Do you know?
Yes. It's a large ball.
The biggest ball of all.
Yeah. Apparently, the security is pretty lax at the Young household, as Arnold Schwarzenegger has wandered into the crowd, looking pretty surprised that he went out to smoke a cigar and ended up at an AC/DC show somehow. After lighting his cigar with the burning fuse of a cartoon-level amount of dynamite, he then wanders on stage and starts leering over the shoulders of the band, who are so into the groove of the song that they haven't noticed the complete breakdown in security. At some point, in between movie clips from Last Action Hero, Arnold morphs into an Angus Young cosplay schoolboy uniform and spasms around the stage like someone who's never held a guitar before, straddling the humongous gun barrel catwalk as he and the band jam out to the, again, very literal and singular meaning of the lyrics. An underrated song for an underrated movie. The gun is a dick.
The song is a solid B- of an AC/DC song, I think.
The thing with AC/DC is that like even their bad songs are pretty good, every album basically has one great song, and then the rest of them are just like kind of dancing around the same good song. At least their recent ones. I mean, their older albums are like, you know, all-timers front to back. But I would say everything after Back in Black is kind of like hit or miss as far as like the whole album, but they usually have one really great song. So when it comes to pulling out a single, they are very good at it.
Yeah.
And I think this song is they have never played it live actually, which is kind of interesting. And I wish they would, because I think it's a pretty solid song.
Yeah, it's certainly not one of their worst. I think it's as you're saying, like the difference between a great AC/DC song and a bad one is fairly slight. Like it's really not that much of a wobble between the two of them. So you kind of have to think about it. I think this one's catchy, but all AC/DC songs are catchy. It maybe feels slightly derivative or something, but it's not enough to really hold it back. And I'm surprised they don't play it live.
Yeah, I mean, if there's ever a band who was derivative, it would be AC/DC, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
Right. They know it works, and they keep hitting that over and over again.
They figured it out, and it works every time they do it. And I think, this just has like all of the right elements to make it work. Where it's it's got a cool riff, catchy chorus. Brian Johnson sounds good, screaming whatever he's screaming. I don't know what the lyrics are. I actually haven't looked it up, but I don't think it matters. Something about a big gun, I assume.
Yeah.
And
it's a little bit. It's actually thematic to the movie.
I picked up every time I listen to it. I pick up a few lyrics. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So they actually must have wrote this for the movie as opposed to just taking a song and putting it in the movie.
It's basically the entrance theme song for an action star in the movie, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And it's got a driving rhythm that's really satisfying.
Yep. Although that replacement drummer that AC/DC had for a while was in it, and I don't care for that guy. I want the original drummer.
Well, he is now the drummer for AC/DC because the original drummer is in jail for trying to have someone kill his wife.
Yes, yeah. Didn't one of the Young brothers die?
Yes.
Okay, so that's
Malcolm Young passed away a couple of years ago. So yes. And
Brian Johnson doesn't sing anymore, right?
And Brian Johnson can't do it anymore because I think the doctors told him if he plays one more concert, he'll lose his hearing or some shit like that. So somehow they still exist. I believe they are working on an album. I don't know if they're going to be touring to support it, but Angus Young is still out there alive and kicking, and so is Phil. I can't remember his name, the bass player, Phil. Okay. Phil something.
Well, I'm glad there's still... where it sounds like we're making fun of AC/DC, but I like AC/DC quite a bit.
I would never. I love AC/DC.
Yeah, they're really... and just for your information, the song has been played live once during a 1996 rehearsal, but never at never at a lecture.
That doesn't count. Yeah.
Is a music video, is a video of it. So let's talk about it in context with the movie. I think this is actually one of my favorite videos that we've done so far. You alerted me to the fact that Guns N' Roses did this for Terminator, apparently, Terminator 2.
Very, very similar video for the You Could Be Mine off the Terminator 2 soundtrack. I was actually, my first thought was to do that one, but then I watched that video, and it's actually not as good as this one. This one is somehow more interesting.
Well,
even though they are very, very similar.
Terminator 2 must have come out before this one, right?
I think, yes, it did.
It must have, and... I think that the reason this works is that even though it's like super simple and it's really just kind of funny about seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger like pretending to be in the band and running around and everything like that, and it does this generic thing of showing the clips from the movie, as all these music videos that feature movies are wont to do. But I think it's actually like thematically resonant with the movie, which is about a guy being not in the situation that he's used to, and the mashup of Arnold Schwarzenegger with AC/DC matches the Last Action Hero idea of being in an action movie, like a real person being in the movie. And it's pretty clever. Like it matches the idea of the movie script, and it also is a pretty entertaining thing that does the whole seeing the band rocking out, seeing the crowd going crazy, you get clips, and then it's funny to see Arnold walking around in the crowd and on stage with the band. It's like, it's everything I'd want from a music video.
Yeah, I kind of, as I was writing it up, I kept thinking like, this is like a dream I've had where I wander into an AC/DC concert, and like the interactions are very dreamlike, where he's just sort of in the crowd, not really knowing what's happening. And then all of a sudden he's just on stage and he's walking around everybody, but they're not reacting as though he's there. And then all of a sudden he's part of the band. It's this oddly No, I mean, this isn't like, you know, a Godard film or anything, or Jean Cocteau film or anything, but it's like it's oddly dreamlike in its presentation, as opposed to just, you know, a straight ahead look at the band jam out kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that and Arnold is really interesting too, because Arnold, he's such an endearing presence and actor. Like what he's doing is pretty cheesy. You know, he's pretending to play the guitar and
Yes,
you could,
pretending at best.
pretending at best. Like he'd watched a YouTube video about someone playing a guitar one time before starting to do this, and you know he's just kind of, he's like an endearing person who, there are a lot of other actors, if they were doing that, I would be like, this is ridiculous, this is awful, like, and sort of feel embarrassed for them. And Schwarzenegger doesn't fit that way. He's really just we haven't done him on Real Ripe or anything, but like I was trying to think, like, would just in terms of their career, let's go down the thing here. I'm going to ask you, is Schwarzenegger, like, in terms of impact, in terms of career, is he a top 50 actor of all time?
As far as impact goes,
Yeah,
100%.
However,
100%.
Top is he top 20?
Arguably, yeah.
Top 15? I think I started feeling uncomfortable around top 10, actually.
Yeah, I would say that's probably true, because I mean, I don't think you can understate how much he sort of changed the way action movies were made. And his whole thing is just so iconic in a movie star way that is reminiscent of like the way movie stars used to be, but also completely different in that it is like just so huge.
Yeah, but and he's like, if you were just to go up to 100 people on the street and say, name an action movie star, he's got to be 95 out of 100, the first answer. You know, like on the Family Feud rules or whatever.
Yeah. And even to younger people, too, even though he hasn't really made a good movie in a long time, he's still such a staple that he's kind of like the Harry Houdini of action heroes, in that at a certain point, whether or not he's still alive or still making movies or whatever, his name is now synonymous with his profession. Yeah. So
he's the Kleenex of action stars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or the Michael Jordan, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so it's everybody who comes after him is trying to do what he did, essentially. Because I mean, like, even watching this video, you were talking about, there's something endearing about the way he is, you know, dresses up in the goofy kind of thing. It's very much the same thing that The Rock and now like John Cena have been trying to do, where it's like they know that they are these gigantic, imposing people, so they self-deprecate themselves in a way that makes them a lot more endearing.
Yeah, I still feel that The Rock and someone like Cena and Dave Bautista are more threatening than Arnold is as he comes. Like, it's funny that Arnold can be super threatening in like the Terminator and stuff, but he can also do things like this music video, which is like super endearing and like makes you smile at him. And it's really rare to have an action star who can do both of those things, and both of them feel pretty effective in how he does it.
Yeah. I don't think Cena has figured it out yet, because I think Arnold with those other guys, I don't know about Batista, is still pretty threatening just in general.
Right.
But The Rock, maybe less so than Cena. When they do this kind of thing, it feels like you can tell that they know that's why they're doing it.
Yes, that's a good one. Arnold feels like he's just really enjoying the moment of doing things like this.
Yeah, like I was watching Monday Night Raw last night, and they had this clip. I guess John Cena is guest hosting the Ellen Show for a week or something. I don't know. And he's doing all these kind of goofy things. And with John Cena does this thing where if he's being goofy, he wants you. It's another thing about it. Sylvester Stallone does the same thing, where if he's doing something goofy, he kind of overhams it because he wants you to know that he knows what he's doing is goofy.
Right. He's being funny now.
And yeah, it drives me insane with Stallone. Stallone is I don't buy Stallone in comedy hardly ever, because he always does this. And it's always like, well, Stallone wants to know that they're not making fun of him. He understands what's going on.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But Schwarzenegger commits to the bit.
He does.
100%.
Yeah. And
Like Junior, Arnold Schwarzenegger in Junior or Twins or something like that, or Kindergarten Cop, he commits 100%.
Yeah.
And he's great at it.
Even this movie, The Last Action Hero is kind of making fun of his profession to this point.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
It's interesting that this movie didn't do better.
Critically and commercially flopped.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it is...
It's a great concept.
Him being...
It's like...
Yeah.
I can't understand how it missed.
It's him being critical of himself at the height of his career, essentially.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, this is like right after Terminator 2, so he hasn't fallen out of favor yet. He's still riding high, in the glory days of Planet Hollywood.
And it's directed by Joe McTiernan.
Yeah.
The action director.
Greatest action director of the 80s,
Yeah.
John McTiernan.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's weird that it didn't click. I think probably maybe because it was him and not somebody else doing it, people assumed it was just a straightforward. I think it was one of those movies where they didn't market it particularly well,
Sure.
and probably they just marketed it as a a Schwarzenegger movie,
Yeah.
so people kind of weren't expecting the comedic side of it.
I have not seen it in a long time, so I don't know if the comedy I could see the comedy being the worst part of it potentially, and maybe the comedy doesn't work, but I haven't seen it recently enough to comment.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while either, but I always liked this movie. I think the second half of it gets a little bit, dicey, but for most of the first half, it's pretty solid.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, Charles Dance as the bad guy is always a good idea.
So so you think this music video works? I think it's really good. I think it's enjoyable. I think that the song pops in a way that something like Cyndi Lauper does not pop at all. I think that Arnold really adds some flair to it. It's funny. It like advertises the movie while still being entertaining in and of itself. And it's actually interesting because it's not really all that complicated. It's a really simple idea. And I think a lot of the success, just pins on people knowing what they're doing when you combine AC/DC, who knows how to write a riff-based rock song, with Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's like, I know how to make, I basically know how to make a movie type thing. And this is what you get.
Yeah, and it's the soundtrack in general for this movie is pretty solid. There's a lot of like hard rock stuff on it that's pretty good. I think there's a Megadeth song on there that I think is similar to this, where it's not on any album. It's just
it's
on
Angry
this
Again by Megadeth.
Yeah, love that song.
Yeah, and then Cypress Hill has Cock the Hammer. Fishbone has Swim. You've got AC/DC, Alice in Chains, Megadeth, Queensryche, Def Leppard, Anthrax, Aerosmith, Alice in Chains, Cypress Hill, Fishbone, Tesla, and Buckethead.
That's an interesting soundtrack.
That is Buckethead with the final track on it.
Wow, that's early for Buckethead.
Yeah, I only know him from Guitar Hero, so he's out there before that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the first one we've done that's just like a straight up band performing the song video too, isn't it?
I would say this is kind of like the Blues Traveler one, but the gimmick of that is hiding the band. So I'd agree, I guess. Yeah, like this is the most straight ahead version that we've probably seen so far of the band just playing the song. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously there's a bit of a twist to it because they're working in Schwarzenegger and stuff, and it's not just straight up band playing the song.
If there was no Schwarzenegger interacting with the band, it would be 100% just the only case we've seen of the band simply playing.
Yeah, and I think this is an instance where doing that for your band is actually a benefit. Not that they're explicitly not in other ways, but like AC/DC just commands the stage, so doing a video that's just them playing their song is pretty much all you need to do anyway.
Yeah. Yep.
Whereas some of the other bands, it's like, all right, yeah, great. Kip Winger doing spins and shit. Right, cool. AC/DC is just like, you've got, what was it? Kiss, Kiss's first like 3 albums didn't go anywhere because they're a shitty studio band.
Yep.
And it wasn't until they did a live album where they could actually harness the power of their live show that they exploded. And I think that's a similar thing here, where it's like, it's a studio song, but you put a camera on AC/DC and people are going to enjoy it. Yeah. Basically.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they're a super interesting band. If we'll have more of theirs, I assume, in the future, but not many bands can lose their pinnacle frontman and then replace them, and not really, they probably arguably have their best album after they've replaced their original frontman, who is known to be one of the greats. But interesting. That's it. So do you think, Clay, that video killed the radio star here? Does the video amplify the song?
I think so, 100%.
Yeah, I'd agree. I enjoy watching the video with the song.
Yeah, it's not a bad song. It's a good song, but then you put this in it, and it's like the whole vibe is just firing on all cylinders, I think.
Yeah. I would agree. I think that it's one of those. What the hell is this? This is not what I wanted to. It is a song that's It's a song that is certainly helped by the video, even though the song isn't a particularly bad thing in the first place. And I think that it's just the music video, I think, just needs a small little tweak to, like, the video idea just needs this little thing, and that really pushes it over the edge. You don't have to go crazy with it. You don't have to get too creative. You just need kind of like this little tweak that really differentiates yourself, and then you end up with something.
What if they had done this video, same song, black and white, shoot it in Dubai?
In Dubai?
Yes. And then
instead
of a gun catwalk, what if there's a bunch of like dancing guns doing crazy like artistic dance moves, and a bunch of Arnold Schwarzeneggers driving Ferraris?
I was missing the Thunder reference to Dubai, I guess, was the original thing. I think that would only help, and you'd have to call it a film by AC/DC starring Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
For our next one, I don't think this is our last one. I think we've got two more because you wanted to do one after this one, Clay. But I'm going to pick a fan.
I got greedy.
A fan requested favorite, which is going to be Celine Dion's "My Heart Will Go On," which is the theme from Titanic. Obviously.
Yeah. I think we would be remiss not to do that one, and I don't think we're too hip not to do it.
No, absolutely. I have no problem throwing up Celine Dion up into that Spotify playlist and just blasting that as I
great song, man.
It's
unbelievable.
It's a pinnacle accomplishment of a song. Maybe. Well, we'll talk about it when we get to it. We'll talk about the impact of that song in terms of its music video and everything like that. All right, Clay. Thank you very much. We enjoyed the AC/DC Big Gun video. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for supporting the show. All the social media is down below. Patreon.com/the Pensky File if you want to support the show there. And you can look forward to us next week talking about Celine Dion, "My Heart Will Go On." See you later.